Hey guys, Random 3D here. This is the first video I've done where I'm doing an actual tutorial. So if you want to see the fun results, stay till the end and you can see how Darth Vader turns out. This model is free on Makerworld at Random 3D. It's kind of a hybrid approach where we can click some stuff in and now we're going to paint some stuff as well. So the only painting needed for this particular model is the head and also the stand, and I'll go through the different steps and what I use, the different types of paints and the different techniques I get to get my final results. Hopefully this will help you out. If there's any questions, please leave them in the comments below, and enjoy the video. So now I'm just adding some UV resin. I've seen on TikTok and on YouTube where people would mix with a bit of baby powder, which you'll see me doing now in a minute. It does make a big difference. It kind of goes on like a slime, makes it so much easier for sanding. So if you do have layer lines in your models, this is a great way of getting rid of those, which you'll check out now. I'll fasten up the video in parts, guys, just so to keep the video short, but you'll see now the different techniques I use. Okay guys, so I'm just finishing up the UV resin on those layer lines. I'm also going to put it on the top of the helmet too. You can see there at the top of the helmet there are layer lines. That's just happens when you're printing these type of models. So what I'm going to grab is this is 600 grit little sanding stick, and I'm going to use grey primer as well. As you can see there, after you put the UV resin on it and sand it, you get a nice smooth finish. And now with this grey primer, which is just normal car primer, you can see the difference there where we have that shine and the layer lines are gone. Okay guys, so once that primer's on, I do give a light sand at 600 grit there as well, and this just allows that paint to stick. I'm also going to put some liquid mask on the face to protect it from the black paint. To be honest with you, I think it's probably best to use normal masking tape here, which you'll find out now in a minute. As you see, it was quite difficult for me to remove. So let's just fast forward and we'll see what it looks like at the next step. Okay guys, so as we see now, we have put the black paint on. Now I just use normal car spray paint because it's quite a big model, and to be honest with you, it was just quicker to do it that way. It did come out nice and shiny and there's no layer lines, but now trying to remove that liquid mask was a pain. So this is where the masking tape would have been a lot better, I think, in this instance. But you know what, we learn from these mistakes, don't we? So let's just fast forward this and you'll see the absolute nightmare of a job I had trying to remove that masking tape. Now after all that, finally got most of that liquid mask off, and I left a little bit of residue behind, but actually I think it actually looks really cool with a little bit of black on it. But to be honest, we're going to fix that anyway by the painting anyway. And you can see there, that's what I'm showing you there, that frog masking tape is absolutely brilliant, so I do recommend that. And we will also paint the base as well at the end. That's a nice quick job for that one there. So I think so far it's looking good, and now we're looking at painting the model, and what I'm using there is just a normal flesh paint. Now the paints I use here are Tamiya paints. So now let's crack on with the airbrushing. So what I'm doing here is just getting my lines ready, just making sure there's not overspray before I apply it to the actual model. You'll notice I'm not using any liquid mask or masking tape on the head, and the reason for this is I'm going to paint the head with the flesh paint, being careful not to go too much on the black helmet, and then I'm going to blend it in with a black paint, and you'll see now exactly how I do this. So now that the first layer of flesh paint's down, what I'm doing now is just mixing some brown paint with the flesh just to make a deeper colour, and then I'm going to apply that then to the different areas of the face, which you'll see now shortly. And once that's done, you can see the different shadows are starting to come in, and it's kind of changing the way the face looks now. And then we're going to apply the black paint, which is just standard semi-gloss black paint, and that's going to cover any of the overspray of the flesh paint, and then we're just going to kind of blend all that in now. I have to say this is my favourite part, guys. This is where we're putting on the red paint to colour in all the battle scars. So I'm using burnt red here, and this is really nice because it's kind of a deep red and it kind of looks like real swords. So I'm just going to mix this up. I'm going to apply it with a paintbrush, and to be honest with you, I'm just kind of throwing it on because you don't need to be careful here. Um, the scars on the model itself are really there for a guide, but you can be creative with it yourself. Now I've just mixed a little bit of white in with that burnt red to bring up the colour. It's kind of like a light pink, and this is just going to go around the mouth, and I'm going to use some of this as well for around the eyes. Okay guys, so that's the mouth done and the lips, and now we're just going to focus on the eyeball. So I'm using a fine tip paintbrush here, just easily putting on the white, and then I'm going to add in that burnt red. I'm going to mix that burnt red with a bit of white, just like the lips, to bring that light colour out. And then we can't forget about the eyebrows, which is coming up next. The eyebrows, it's just a little bit of black and a little bit of brown. Now we're just using olive green here for the eyes, and then we'll put a black pupil in now in a second as well. It is important though, when you're doing this step, is to let each layer fully dry before applying it, otherwise you will get a colour bleed and it'll mix in and it won't come out that great. So now just for the pupil, what we're doing is we're just putting in the paintbrush, getting a nice blob and just resting it on the eyeball there. And yeah, I think it's coming out quite well now. And next step is the matte lacquer trick. So what this will do is, the model is pretty much nearly done now. What that matte lacquer does is, when you spray it on, it blends it all in, it gives that nice texture. So next up guys is the UV resin, which really is brilliant. So if you have some of this UV resin lying around, it is great for the eyes, and I'm going to put it on the scars as well, and it's really just going to make it really lifelike, which is really cool. So yeah, you just have to be careful with this UV resin stuff. Just make sure you wear proper eye and face protection um, when you're applying it. Okay guys, so that's Darth Vader done, so we just have to finish off the base, and what I'm using here is just that Tamiya semi-gloss black spray paint, or should I say airbrushing paint, and we're just going to give a light coat right around the base, just to kind of add some extra textures and shadows, and I go heavier in parts where there's more detail, and the reason for that is we're going to cover this with a AK steel grey. And we're just going to lightly brush that on now in a second. As you can see now, I have this AK paint, and it's just a light brush back and forth, not too crazy, and just dipping it and taking the excess off with a bit of kitchen roll there, and you can see that's come out really nice. We got those nice layers and nice shadows. So thanks guys for watching the video. If you like this type of content, do let me know in the comments, because I'll create more tutorial videos on the paint and the different techniques I use. If you want longer videos, do let me know. Again, this model can be downloaded for free at Random 3D on Makerworld. Thanks again guys for tuning in, and I'll catch you on the next one.